Has anyone ever done that?
Yeah.
Have you Googled your name? Okay. And Alan, of course, that's your business, right? You help people get found that way. What you're going to find is that one of the first things that come up when you do that is your LinkedIn profile. And if there's someone else with your name, you want to be the one that commands that presence, but based on the number of connections you have, complete profile, and so on, so that when someone looks for Brian Daly, they don't get someone in California or whatever, they get me here in Florida.
Point of reference, Brian?
Yeah.
When you Google your name, put it in quotes. That way you're pulling just your name. You're saying, Google, I want this first, this last, in that order, and that will limit the number of results.
Good. And also start Googling attorneys, Jupiter. See how they're coming up and where they're coming up. And not to get into all of Alan's business, but Google is very, very important. Having a complete profile on LinkedIn is very simple and easy to do. So when someone is looking for you, they're more than likely going to find you on LinkedIn and then go to your profile.
Brian, good question. Can you define complete? Because you go all the history of so this is the very first company.
Yeah, I don't think you really have to do that. I would say the most important, relevant stuff. The fact that I was a security guard in college probably.
That's on your PowerPoint.
Yeah, that's on the 68-page About Me PowerPoint, right? I love me. My favorite subject.
There's actually a progress bar, kind of, I think it's lower right-hand corner of the website, and it will tell you how much of a percentage you are complete. Like I think that if you don't put in a resume, you're like 85% or something like that. Right, exactly.
So let's talk about your profile. And you're right. You can click on this and prove the profile. But let's talk about the profile. It's going to look, of course, differently for everyone. I like to lead with the business connection. I walk out and I say, Kevin, how's your life insurance today? I'm fine. I don't need any more. That sort of thing. Instead, if I lead with things that are, most people listen to radio station, WIIFM, what's in it for me? So that's my approach to the world, is through the business group. I mean, you could do the same thing if you wanted to as well, but that's a great way for me to lead in and talk to folks. When you update your profile, by the way, and you do the post, this will show up underneath your profile, and it will also show up on your news feed, the main wall, if you will, with all your connections. So every time you're promoting something and putting it out there, it'll show up there. But going through the connections, one of the first things that I look at is, what is this person promoting? What are they kind of about? What's their deal? What are they doing currently? Past, where do they go to school? And then here on, if I were connecting with this person, you can change these two and I'll go back and show you how to edit those. If you're not taking advantage of this, their Twitter, their Facebook, their YouTube, all that. How many people in here don't really like Twitter? Don't understand it, don't even have time for it. But you know what? There's people who do. I would have a Twitter profile and set up anyway, because there's going to be people that are just going to want to connect with you there. And everything all kind of goes around and leads them back to hopefully your website, your personal website, or your personal blog. But just because you don't really understand it or like it or whatever, I would recommend that you have a presence there, because there are people who do like it. Yeah,
I just want to tell something about Twitter. I did not like Twitter, and I went ahead and signed up. All of a sudden, I got a guy from Australia sends me this tweet, says, "Hey Monica, I understand you used to work for Tony Robbins. I love Tony Robbins, and I wanted to know if you want me to link you with my 28,000 Twitter members." And I went, "What?" So I went, "Okay." All of a sudden, I get a tweet, and it's all over the place.
And it's all free.
Right, and then he got it to his home because he connected that way. So you don't know who's out there that has Twitter that knows you and they want to talk about you.
Absolutely. Good point.
Because givers always give.
That's right. And adding value and so on, right? I also look at how many recommendations. So if I go to someone's profile and they don't have their picture up, or they have a corporate picture with their company logo or whatever, I just say, how are they really into this thing or not? They might be just getting started with it and so on, but people are making judgments all the time. They're saying, hey, you know what? This person can't even get their profile right. How can I do business with someone who just doesn't, you know what I mean? You see what I'm saying with that? All right. You can edit, by the way, you can edit this out here. Have you seen the LinkedIn that goes on with all these numbers? You can, somebody want to give me a profile we can look at? Maybe.
Come on.
Alan Sills?
Okay.
Maribellis, M-A-R-I.
Let's see, Alan. There's Alan's. Okay. We look at Alan's, it's very clear. Internet marketing business consultant, owner at alansills.com, great. He was a teacher, trainer, Patterson Public High School, has 329 connections. This says blog. You can use that, and you can also, by the way, you can customize this. I'll show you how to do that. And it looks like he's shortened his profile. He's got his Twitter there. If I were to connect with him the first time, I would probably just click on this, go to my Twitter account, and which I'm already following him, and I would take a quick look. Oh, this is consistent with what he was saying before. I might go to his website. It looks like he's got quite a few connections in Twitter, which would be very consistent with someone who's an internet marketer. So I'm an internet marketer, but I don't use Twitter. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Great question. You said phone number is very important. Where's the best place to put the phone number on LinkedIn? Because I don't see a phone number there.
I see his number right here so far, which is great. I put it everywhere, by the way. I'll show you mine.
Because yours is right up on top, right?
Yeah, you can move your pieces around. I also put it under additional information, and you can see the groups that he's a part of.
It's in there further down too.
And it's
Got my WordPress link to it.
yeah. So let me go back to
Should be there somewhere.
my profile. If you go to here's the best. I'll show you the best tip ever for LinkedIn. If you go all the way down to the bottom of LinkedIn, there's a little button here called Help Center. It's phenomenal. You can really learn type in a question, I'm trying to do this or I'm trying to do that, and it will take you to the LinkedIn Help Center, which is way more resources than I could possibly give you today. But you'll see what I did is I put my phone number at the bottom, it's in the middle, and it's also the first thing that you'll see there is right there. And then how to connect with them. Okay, so besides completing the profile, we want to, how can we, you can do a search in LinkedIn. The LinkedIn search feature is extremely powerful. You can search by people, updates, jobs, companies, answers, etc. Okay? People are now using Facebook and LinkedIn to do their searches, not just on Google. So I might look for an attorney, Martin County, whatever, on LinkedIn. How do you assure yourself that you could very easily show up on page one of what they call above the fold, the beginning part of the page on LinkedIn, by using keywords, having a complete profile, a lot of connections, activity, and using the right keywords in your profile. So you have to figure out what are the right keywords for your business. How are people going to be searching for you? Life coach, success coach, all those different terms you want to have throughout your profile so that when they search for those terms, your name comes up. That make sense? And you don't want to, you can see some folks, especially in the website SEO world, search engine optimization, where they put, SEO, search engine optimization, it's like all over their profile. And it looks terrible. you want to build it in kind of a logical way. The first and one of the most important things that folks are going to search for is in your headline, which is up here. So if you had business attorney, Martin County or something, whatever it is that they're going to be searching for is in this headline, that's going to come up to the top. And then your current and previous employment. So I haven't loaded mine with search terms. People generally are not going to search the internet for an advisor for my business, but if they are for yours, you might want to put some more keywords in there. And the keywords, though, you would want to put them in here under current and past. I haven't really completely filled out my past, but search engine optimization, if it was a keyword, would go into my past employment. You want to put it throughout your profile under additional information or personal information. You can put keywords in here. I've also put a separate section under summary, which I call keywords. So I just put in keywords. Here's a whole bunch of keywords that I put in there. So it doesn't look like, have you ever seen at the bottom of a web page or a blog or whatever, you see a whole bunch of keywords? So it kind of looks like that. That was my solution to putting a whole bunch of keywords into my profile. Any questions on that? It's really, I either did a real good job of explaining that or a lousy job because there's no questions. Yeah.
I don't have to add people, but with some new people here with LinkedIn, can we show how maybe you could add Alan? I know it's at the second level, just like what that is.
Okay. I thought Alan was a direct connection, but.
I didn't say it was.
So let's say that Alan, oh no, he's not. Okay. So Alan is second connection, second degree. It means we're not directly connected, right?
On the right, it should show you how to connect with that.
Yeah. How I can connect with him. I'll show you what I would do. Oh, you went to Rutgers, so did I. You went to New Jersey, New Brunswick. I went in Newark. So now I'm seeking some common ground with that. Oh, you're from Jersey. I'm from Jersey. What exit? So, and then the next thing I'm going to look to see is, there's a lot of common connections, but the most important thing for me with doing invitations, Rob, is I try to conserve my invitations because I have about 400 of them left, so I don't want to spend them all necessarily. So what I'll do is I'll ask him to spend one of his, okay? And I'll show you how I do that. Now after today, you might not do that. I have Word documents. Your membership's been approved. I have all these different Word documents that I've templated, and I have an invite to connect on LinkedIn. And I copy and paste it into. Now what I'm going to do is, see, I can't. If I'm going to connect with Alan, I can connect with him, add Alan to your network. It's going to say, now when I do that, see, I've got 462 invitations left. I'm going to spend one of mine. It's going to say, how do you know Alan? Easiest way is through groups. I know that he's in the Link Local Palm Beach, not in Palm Beach Business Connection yet, Martin Business Connection yet, etc. And I would encourage him to join those, but I applied. Okay, all right, good. So, and then I would send the invitation, and this was the standard invitation that we were talking about before. So I would, put in there, if I were going to spend one of mine, hey Alan, I see you are a Scarlet Knight. I see that you are from Rutgers, from New Jersey, whatever. I see that we have a lot of friends in common, a lot of, et cetera. And I usually just leave I'd like to add you to my network, but I usually customize it that way. And then just hit send invitation, and then he'll get a message in his inbox that says these folks want to connect with you. And then you can go and view their profile and accept, I'll tell you, I pretty much give everyone the benefit of the doubt and connect with them until proven otherwise, because I can always remove them later. If they don't have a picture, if they're, again, corporate identity and all that other stuff, a lot of times I won't connect with them, but I will connect with them now. Yeah, right.
I need to ask this one, but how do you remove somebody? I got this annoying guy up in Boston.
Go to contacts, go to connections, and over here it says remove connections. So you go to remove connections, then you go find them in your list, and then pull them out that way.
Or report spam.
Yeah, you know, if you're getting spam, I would report it. By the way, our 10 commandments of our group, number 1, no spam. Okay? It doesn't do anybody any good. It just pisses people off, and it really reflects on you negatively and so on. Okay.
That's what this guy's doing. He's spamming.
Oh, report spam.
So that's the best way to do it.
Report spam and remove them from your connections.
Timeshares or
Come buy my stuff. Right? Here's these are this is my first degree connections, 8,000, 2 degrees away, so when someone connects with me, they instantly pick up 2.2 million contacts. Well, that and $2 will get you a cup of coffee at Starbucks, right? Because it doesn't matter how many people you're connected to, it matters how many people you know and so on. But it's the beginning of the process. And by the way, after I show you a couple little tricks, that 8,000 number is going to, some people are impressed by that number. It really doesn't mean as much as you might think. The upper limit, by the way, on LinkedIn, there's 5,000 friends limit on Facebook. On LinkedIn, it's 30,000 first degree connections. You can have up to 30. So somewhere around 20,000, I might be, slowing down my connections a little bit. So I got a ways to go. What does that mean in the overall scheme of things? I don't know. I am connected with people, and Sandra, I know that you have. You've been a big social media user for many years. Have lots and lots of connections. There are people that I can reach out to that I'm connecting with now that I might want to reach out to later on for something. You just never know. Why not be connected to them? And if they become a nuisance, report them to LinkedIn. It's report spam and remove them from your contact. Unfortunately, I haven't had to remove anyone yet. I'm sure that they will probably come where I will, but I've had business opportunities and ventures presented to me through my LinkedIn with people that I just connected with, and the next thing you know, there were opportunities that turned out to be great opportunities just because I was connected with them. Furthermore, it also allows me to reach out to more people the bigger my network is. And every time when I connect with Alan, all of his contacts become part of my network. Okay? There are a lot of schools of thought on that. Some people say, I won't connect with anyone unless I have coffee with them first. I think you might be limiting yourself and your opportunity, to be honest with you. But that's okay, different strokes for different folks.
So when you start a discussion or you send an invitation, it goes out to everybody, all degrees, or just
First
first degree?
degree. Just first degree on my wall. Yeah.
Unless my first degrees liked it, would that second degrees,
Then all their first degrees see it.
not the second?
Not your second, but theirs.
But their first, come on, okay, their first degree. Right, so their first, but see, if I like them, then all the ones that were second to me, but they're first to him, they will see my like, and then they, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be visible. It would be visible, and they could see it potentially. Yeah, absolutely. So going back to Alan, how I would connect with him is I would go to, because I know that he's part of our groups, Link Local Palm Beach, and then I would go to members, and under members I would you can search for all the people named Alan here under search, and then I would look. I could have typed in his whole name. How do you have it listed? Alan or Al or?
Yeah.
Did I spell Alan right?
ALAN. Yeah.
And he's now a member of the Palm Beach Business.
Could be under Al Sills too. AL.
There it is. So when I see his name come up, I can send him a message.
Check his group.
Yeah, just.
Check.
Okay.
We just did it. He's in.
Okay. So I could either invite to connect. See if I leave my mouse over here, you don't see that come up. As soon as I bring my mouse over here, those two options come up. So I hit send a message. Now I take my document that I just copied over from Word that says, by the way, hello, welcome, great to have you in the group. Your ideas, suggestions are welcome, etc. Here is, if you'd like to add me directly to your LinkedIn connections, here's my direct link. And when you do it this way, you probably have a 50 to 60% people will send me back messages that say, thank you for welcoming you to the group, and then they'll connect with me. So I might not, if I definitely want to connect with them, I'll send them the invitation to connect. If I'm not necessarily wanting to spend a lot of my connections, I'll do it that way. Okay? There's blood. Any questions on that?
Yeah, because your invitation is just going out to Alan, correct?
Yeah, I'm using the internal messaging program like an email inside LinkedIn to send them a message that says, hey, Alan, welcome to our group. Here's my information if you'd like to connect with me directly, and so on. And I'd say probably 40 to 50% of the people that I do that with connect with me.
Okay, because I was a little confused with Monica's question about how many people would see your invitations based on.
No, that would be the main wall. If I post something or publish it, and I'll show you that in a minute.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Now I'm very clear.
And potentially see it. They don't necessarily see it. Now I can direct message everyone in my list as
Okay,
well.
So what you're saying is there are a lot of similarities between LinkedIn and Facebook.
Absolutely.
Okay, got it.
I'll say this, the biggest difference between LinkedIn and Facebook is LinkedIn is a professional networking. There are a lot of people on Facebook, they have their 200 or 300 friends, they don't want any more. They don't want you in their life necessarily unless they get to know you. They don't want you looking at pictures of their family and where they went on vacation and so on. The difference with LinkedIn is we know that we're there for business and we want to, hopefully, connect with other people to do business. There are people on LinkedIn that I've connected with that I would never have connected with on Facebook. Okay?
Brian, question?
Yeah.
How about Facebook for business page? Can you use that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Absolutely. Facebook is, the granddaddy, the big boy and whatever. I think it should be in all the places, but I think that for business networking, there's a lot of people that are trying to use Facebook, I think, incorrectly, where people don't want to get a commercial message when they're talking to their friends and so on. You know what I mean? But yes, you can. You can use Facebook very successfully in a business page and commercially and so on. Just for me, I would prefer. I've had much greater success with LinkedIn. Okay? Yeah.
Just a thought on the Facebook business page. You can create a custom iframes page which makes it look like a website and then do very targeted pay-per-click marketing through Facebook to individuals if you have the kind of business that people would potentially respond to. Somebody who's in a social type business, the juice marketing, the real estate, that kind of stuff goes over real well with Facebook.
And by the way, we just Al just joined the Palm Beach Business Connection, and here he is right here. And Martin Business Connection. I would say that the fact that they're the Latino, if you don't speak Spanish, learn it. You know, I'm kidding. But they're a $1 trillion marketplace. I mean, it's a huge, huge marketplace. I would consider that as well.
How did you learn that statistic?
I know. I took it from you. Thank you, Monica.
I posted it.
And she posted it.
And I had a smart person that said, Monica, it's not 48. I mean, Latinos is 50. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah. 50 million Latinos, $1 trillion market. It's huge.
Brian?
Yeah, so I just had one other thing. Now, would you agree with me that having more connections would be better than having less connections? Right? And we certainly want to target our connections based on things that, you know, maybe in the construction industry, if that's what you're in, and so on. But I think you should also have a very broad collection of connections. And I've used this example before. I said, if you were a plumber and a ballerina wanted to connect with you, would you connect with the ballerina? Obviously, very, very different businesses. Why? Why would you do that?
The ballerinas are very good at plumbing.
Ballerinas have plumbing. They're not very. What if the ballerinas? What if the ballerinas? What if the ballerina's husband was the largest general contractor in Florida? You know, you just never know where those connections are going to lead you to. Okay, so how do you increase those connections? I've made about 8,000 connections in the last 12 months. I'll show you one of the things that I do just about every day is I go to the business group, the groups that I'm a part of, Palm Beach Business. I want local connections too, by the way. For my business, having connections all over the world is great, but the most important are the ones here locally for me. And I go to members, and I try to do it just about every day. When a new member comes in, now Alan's a new member, and I already sent him a message, and that message would be, hi, welcome to our group. Great to have you. Here's my information if you'd like to connect with me. And by the way, call me anytime if there's anything I can do to help you back then. And I would send them off a message. In fact, let me do that real quick so I can show you how to send them a message. You're going to get a couple of messages from me. Okay. So it would be hello, and then I would customize it. Hello, Alan. Welcome to our group. Send. Okay. Now I can hit my back button, and I hit it again. It's going to take me back to where I was. So now Russell, we're already connected, and I would hit send message if I wasn't connected to him, and just go down the list that way. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's how I'm connected. In fact, where all these connections came from, I sent the message out to Parit. She hasn't responded yet, and Rachel hasn't, but these folks have connected with me because I've already done it there. I do it in all of the groups that I'm part of. Now the next question is, how much time do you spend on this stuff? How can you run your business and your life and everything else? I would say you have to carve out a certain amount every day, 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, whatever. Hire a virtual assistant, hire somebody to manage your social media. I think it's that important, okay? I've heard it said that social media is like magic. It makes time disappear. You know? The next thing you know, you're trying to build your business and do whatever, and the next thing you know, you're watching videos of kitty cats or something.
Brian, one other
Yeah.
Are you saying you would go down your list of second-degree connections to make first-degree connections?
What I'm doing is I'm going to the business connection, right, and then I go every day. There's new members coming in.
Yes.
So it'll say, these are the new members over here in the last 7 days. For instance, there's 783 members in this group. To try to connect with 783 members would be maybe overwhelming. Instead, what I do is I make sure that I reach out to all the new members every day, or every couple of days, or at least once a week, where if I'm connecting with all the new members as they're coming in, I'm building up my contacts.
Thank you.
When I get a business card from somebody that's at the coffee meetings, if they're not part of the group, I invite them to the group, connect with them, and so on. So that's how I'm always trying to build my local contacts and my local connections.
Thank you.
Like the C-suite, where you're talking about a great professional internet person. If somebody sees somebody's comment, and then they see it's by C-suite, doesn't that kind of invade the personalized?
Yeah. Like with Twitter, if someone's automating their messages out there to the world, a lot of people don't like to receive messages from
I
machines.
wonder what your thoughts were as far as that was on.
You can do it without doing it through Hootsuite or whatever those are. There's a lot of different ways to manage your social media. But if you work with a good virtual assistant, someone who's going to manage that stuff for you, you don't have to worry about that. You have to pay them, of course. Yes.
Just curious, create or even find local events you're interested in on
Absolutely. The search feature,
say I was interested in having a photo show or something.
who said I wanted more? You know LinkedIn very well, huh? Good.
I never noticed it.
And so it's going to be events home, find events based on keywords upcoming. The stuff that's available on LinkedIn is absolutely incredible. I want to show you one other little trick. You may be interested in this, maybe not. If you go to our blog, so Givers Always Gain, we're going to change this, by the way. Initially, we were Palm Beach Business Connection. We started out as Link Local, then we became Palm Beach Business Connection. Now we're just the Business Connection. Eventually, that URL is going to say giversalwaysgain.com. But if you go there and then you go to our blog, you go down about halfway down the page, there's a program called Top Link. And this is this is on the blog. If you click on this, it's an affiliate link. It means I get credit for that. I get like a box of steak knives or something if I refer a certain number of people. So I appreciate you. You should go directly to toplink.com, but if you go through the blog, I get some kudos and maybe a box with cookies or something. But here's what Top Link is. It's basically you pay $45 a year, and it's part of an open network on LinkedIn. Basically saying, hey, I am an open networker, and I am looking to connect with people all around the world. Okay? And every day I open up my LinkedIn account, and today looks like Alan sent me an invitation. This is more than likely, this is someone in Tampa, St. Pete. This is someone in New York City. So every day I probably get about a dozen requests from people all around the world to connect with me. Now, if you do get those contacts, please don't ever hit report spam, because that's kind of defeats the whole purpose of being an open networker. There's many different schools of thought on being an open networker, or not being an open networker. My feeling is you can never have too many friends, you can never have too many contacts, you can never have too many connections. You never know when or how you're going to reach out to them later. 6 months from now, I might be looking for a job coach. Let's see, I might be looking for, whatever these folks are doing. Maybe I'm not looking for them now, or maybe I'm going to take a trip to New York City a year from now and reach out and search my connections for something that I don't even know what I'm going to use it for. Yeah.
While you're in that area, I think I discovered something that would be of value to the whole group, because something you pointed out before is a mistake that I made when I didn't know what I was doing, and that is that you're limited to 3,000 connections, 3,000 invitations.
Right.
Click on Sent, right under Inbox, to the left. On the left-hand side, see where it says Inbox, go to Sent. and you'll see a tab on the right side up top. Well, once it responds. Okay, you see where your tab says Sent Invitations?
Yeah.
All right, now, what I discovered on mine is I culled my Google Gmail account, and it sent out about 1,000 invitations, some of which were to meaningless emails, as you had pointed out, old emails or whatever. So then I clicked on some of the emails that were obviously meaningless and clicked delete, and it reduced my number of sent invitations. So I had 1,080, I brought it down to 1,078 by getting rid of 2 of them. Like, for example, Henrique Giorgio, now Gregio, it's probably a real one. You don't want to delete that invitation. But if you have any in there that are clearly bogus, you can delete them, and that'll reduce your number of invitations that you sent.
Are you
if I'm
sure?
correct. Well, try it. Find one that's bogus.
Okay. Well, we don't know what it was.
Yeah. Comedian in the back.
Let's see. Well, I'll come back. Good point. I'm going to try that. I'll come back to that. Does everybody understand what Alan was talking about?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
one quick question.
Yeah.
If they've already accepted, then it.
Done deal. But then it's not a bogus email.
Right. But it's still giving you the option of delete.
But you can archive.
Yeah, you could, I guess.
Well, some of these.
That's where help would come in.
Yeah, September 8th. I'm sure that he's probably been there. In fact, I'm going to see him and say, hey,
He's a busy
why don't
guy.
why don't you connect with me? Okay, so top link has, so when someone says to me, I've got 30,000 LinkedIn connections, I go, big deal. What does that mean? You know, how well do you know them? How deep are your connections and so on? I would personally like to start with a really big list and then start working that list to determine my connections. You can start doing that with TopLink and by adding people into the group. You saw a question?
Yeah, just kind of a word question. I didn't realize all this until I came here, so I'm so grateful for all of you for teaching and sharing with us the strategies. Something that's a little bit embarrassing. I went to the feature where you can just go on like Gmail and send an information to all of your contacts. Like, we got to save me time, and I like that. So what I realized is I not only use up invitations, but I know for a fact that some of the things came back on the autoresponder. I sent invitations to like government agencies, like the water department, and things like that. Seriously, places that I email.
Well, that's what mine
I
did.
correspondence. So I'm just saying, and I won't
Don't
do a lot.
send them, yeah.
So that might, based on what you said, Al, I might be able to go in if they haven't
undo it.
responded. I can maybe undo their invitation for like New York City Water Department. Or
That's what I had checked, and that's what appears to be the case.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll have to make sure. I didn't think that you could. I thought once you sent them,
Once you sent it,
even
it's
if you delete it, it's still counted as sent. But I'll be able, that's a good tip. I'll be able to maybe capture some of
But
what.
for new people, you might want to check off one by one and add people selectively from your Hotmail or Gmail.
Absolutely.
And not just send the whole thing over.
I agree. It definitely. Or go through the list and make sure you're not sending it to the water department and that sort of thing.
The email address that you should use, I had it for customers. So right now, it's using my Indian email. Should it be with your business email address or your personal?
I would use business, and if you're working for another company or whatever, I would always set up my own email address because you change companies and you want to keep those connections. I would also set up, if you don't have your name, I would go to I would buy my own domain name. I own BrianDaly.com. I would also recommend that you get Brian at BrianDaly.com is my email address. Makes it real easy. I own it, etc. And if you're not going to do that, then set up Gmail. Your name at Gmail.
Really quick, on Facebook and LinkedIn, I have 2 email addresses. I have my Gmail address, which is my general mail, and I have bob@championlife.com, which I watch more carefully. That's my business email. And so you can find me both ways, and I can log in using either or emails.
Yeah, you can have multiple emails on your LinkedIn. Yeah.
United, you have that, notification, find another bank, whatever. You can have your other email. Gmail accounts, you can still log in.
I love Gmail. Gmail is an awesome spam filter. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll set up a Gmail account and then I forward the Gmail to my regular email because it helps filter a lot of spam.
It could work against you too if you're sending out emails. You got to be careful with that with Gmail. Because sometimes you get them up in the filter, even if you're sending your own friends and stuff, it gets hung up. It's got a company email.
Yeah. Thanks, Amy. One more and then we're going to move on.
I'm just going to look at a message, a link that says that the message was sent to your email address that's not associated with your account. What's happening?
I don't know. We can look at that later. Larry?
I was, in my former life, I was a mortgage banker, and I had a LinkedIn account with an email company, and so I actually have two LinkedIn accounts. I can't delete the old one, or I don't know how to delete the old one.
You can. What you can do, can you access the old account? Password and email for the old account? If you can get into the old account, you can change the email account in there or delete that profile once you get in there. If you know the email address and the password, then you can get into the account. Delete it or even change the email that's in the account and keep it. Either or. Okay, any more? Yeah, okay. Relax, everybody here.
If I want to be introduced to somebody and he's not part of the group, just say I put him in the search, and what's the best way to do it? I guess you're not supposed to contact the person unless you're part of the group or you actually know him. I mean, I've got his email address as somebody I want to get introduced to, for business. He's over at Serve Mattress. They got 4 books. He's got a great account. And
What's his name?
David Dunnigan.
Spell the last name?
Dunigan.
Is that him? Did I get it?
No. It's Serve Mattress right here. I guess it's Riviera Beach. You're probably not on it. Can you narrow that down in the search? Can you put a common name? Can you put a state or a town next to it?
Yeah. See over here where you also have advanced people search here,
Right.
and then you can do it. You can filter it by company. What was the name of the company?
Serve Mattress. It was there. It showed his name. There you go.
Yeah, what's the city?
I guess it's Riviera Beach. West Palm Beach would be,
You know the zip code?
I think it's 404.
That's close enough. Within 35 miles. We're not getting them.
Yeah, well, you got 2 ends there. It's 1. His last name is just 1.
There's a place with a company too.
Right.
We're not getting David Dunnigan within.
What if you put it in maybe under companies?
Yeah. Brian, do you see where it says that there's a field for company?
Yeah, but that will limit my search even more. I should be able to pick up something here. Okay, so to answer your question without being able to do it here is I look to see what groups they're a part of.
Right.
And then I join the groups that they're a part of.
Okay.
I look to see if we have any common connections.
Right.
And then I will ask those common connections to introduce us. I will also reach out and try to connect with them. Now, how do you connect with them if you don't know anything about them? Well, or their email address is not in their profile. I'll go to their website and see if there's an email address on their website, and then put their email.
Well, I've got his email address, and I have emailed him twice, I got no response whatsoever.
Now, why-
I'm looking for an introduction, you know.
And why would he want to meet you? Just,
You know, I just.
I know you want to meet him. You want to sell him some stuff.
Well, like I said, I'm aggressively looking for, to expand our customers. So
Okay.
that would imply that maybe I could save them some money. I
Okay.
think.
So what I would say is try and find ways or have some leverage so that there's a reason for him to talk to you other than to buy some of your stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he's in the mattress business and so on. I would think of how would I get in front of him? What could I do to help him, or how could I leverage contacts that I have in order to get to him?
What you're really saying
Because
is-
his job is to filter out all the salespeople that want to sell him stuff. That's why he's
Right.
got secretaries and assistants and
Right.
everybody else to block you from doing that. You got to figure out how to,
What's in it for him?
what's in it for him, etc.
Provide value and build a relationship before you sell them something.
Yeah, exactly. What is he? Does he have a favorite charity? You know, kind of what you're thinking out on that. Yeah. Any other questions on that?
I have another comment. If he's a big company, he probably has a purchasing department, rather than trying to go to him directly.
No, I went to serve matches, and I said, introduce myself. And I said, you know, I'd like to bring a forklift business. Who would be the contact person? And she gave me his name, and his email, you know. When you go in person, I don't care, I mean, you go in 100 places, oh, he's in a meeting, or he's not here right now. You never get introduced to him.
That's their job.
Even if you meet the owner, you say, oh, he's not here right now, you know.
Sure.
I would have said something. When I think,
Even if you got him on the phone, they're going to tell you,
what I think,
I'm not here right now.
I do that to him. He's the owner. I said, I owe him $500 a year. Hey, I need to find out.
So that brings up some. How do you really learn how to do this stuff? Is you have a challenge just like that, and you try to think, how do I, you know, if I can't go through the wall, I got to go over it or under it or around it or whatever. Yeah, exactly. And I would say that having a lot of connections, if someone wanted to reach out to me and I found that we had 238 common connections and I wasn't directly connected to that person, I would say, this is probably somebody that I need to know. Okay? And networking, by the way, is not just networking in meetings and groups like this. Being involved in your community and charity and so on, not only is it wonderful for charity and the community and so on, but it's, you know, that would be a great way. I would find out what he likes to do. If he has a favorite charity, and depending on how badly you're dying to meet him, become, you know, the biggest contributor to that charity. You'll get to meet him, you know, depending on whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah, right.
You just mentioned something earlier and it just kind of stuck in my head or something on the events page. If I wanted to go, like you were talking about, you meet it over at Panera's at 8 o'clock in the morning. You were just saying, hey, you know, my dad did the 8 o'clock pizza, you know, the PJ Panera bread. Put that on your events page. I'm understanding this correct, that it goes into your connections. And it kind of sends out to those people that are in your connections. Is that right, or is that wrong?
You can personally invite, you can set up an event in LinkedIn and then invite every one of your connections to that event.
I do a lot of events.
Sure.
I create a lot of events on LinkedIn, and as Brian says, you can actually either like it, recommend it, or share it with your connections. And that is pretty viral.
Here's an event that I comment, like, and share. By the way, social media are 3 of the most powerful buttons out there. We have 3,000 members in Palm Beach County. Let's say they all paid attention one day and went to our LinkedIn or Facebook, and they all decided to comment, like, and share with their friends and so on. Let's say that the average person had 100 connections. Well, that would be 3,000 times 100. What's that? What's the number on that?
30,000, 300,000.
300,000 people instantly got that message out there. So as you're seeing people, how can we help promote others? Well, we can send them referrals, we can make connections for them, we can provide introductions, and when we're cruising through the social media, we can hit comment, like, and share. Monica, when I come across your stuff on the internet or whatever, I always hit comment, like, share. Maybe not share, but I'll hit like for sure. Well, the other thing is you don't want to be constantly sharing, and it's like one of those people that's just constantly broadcasting. By the way, here's a networking for a cause. It's going to be here next Tuesday. My friend Dave Cherico is doing it here at the restaurant. And one of the things I have found with events on LinkedIn is people don't RSVP. There's going to be way more than 3 people here at that event. But what also happens is people will pull up this event and go, "Is 3 people going to a networking event? Boy, that's going to be really weak," and they don't go. So I don't really use this all that much. But what I will do for because this is a great event, a great charity, etc., is I'll hit the share, and this is kind of new. This is recommend. So if you go back to my home page, it shows up. It shows up here with the link and the information that says I said this is a good event. Maybe some of my friends will see it and say, "Hey, I'd like to go to that event." I don't know why it's going so slow.
Brian, while you're doing that, on the point of comment and like, for those that have a website, if it's a WordPress site, you want to make sure that you've got the plugins where under every one of your posts, you can have comment and like. And what you're also going to be doing is you do that, you go to Brian's page or my page or David's page or anybody's page, when you comment, you can also have your email as a signature and your own website address, which will create a backlink to your own site, which will help your site in the Google ranking.
Thank you, Alan. Okay, real quick, one of the things that I do when I go to my account is I look to see who's been looking at me. And you can do that with LinkedIn. So your profile has been viewed 27 times by 27 people in the last 3 days. I pay $20 a month for the premium account. $20 gives me, you don't have to do it. I do it because it allows me to be part of the open network and it allows me to see more of the people that have been looking at me. So I'll look to see, a lot of times people will look at my profile before they connect. This guy here, we have 991 shared connections. We're not connected to each other. He's in Orlando in home-based professional retail. So I would send him a message that said, "Hey Andrew, I saw you looked at my profile. Is there anything I can help you with? By the way, if you'd like to connect with me, here is my information to connect." Okay? Some people do keep their identity hidden. I don't know what. I don't know, that would be like coming into a networking event and going, "I'm a secret agent today. Don't talk to me." Why would you do that? Anonymous LinkedIn user. And some people will, I think this guy here just kind of looked at me because we were going to connect and he wants to know who he's connecting with, which is great. I will also go back through, to show you connections. You can go back and see all of you can sort your connections by location, by lists, by company, by industries, by activity. I can find all of my, I have different groups that I've set up, but by locations I can sort my connections by West Palm Beach, and I can go in and send them all a message. I can do my locations, so if I wanted to send them a message, I would say, let's select all these folks. There's a limit of 50. So let's say I went through and identified each one of the folks that I wanted to send it to. So I sent it to these 3 people, and I hit send a message, and now I can use the internal messaging, drop it in here, to those 3 people and send it out. I can send out 50 at a time that way. I can also do a search of my contacts and my connections. So I can go to my inbox. I'm going to send out a message, and I will do this a lot, which is send out invitations to join the groups. And I can go here to, if you saw that little button that I hit, which was right here next to the messages, I click on this, and it will allow me to sort my connections based on my location and based on the industry. We are building up the real estate, design, construction, trades group. So I'll go in there and I'll look for people that are designers. I'll look for people that are designers in West Palm Beach, and ask them to join the group. So I can go here to West Palm Beach, and then to everyone in the construction, and then send them all. So, here I could do that, hit that, send them off, finished, and then send them, it'll open up the box to send a message and send it out. I just have one more thing, and then I'll open it up for questions. Here. When you're in the groups and we talk about building your own network inside the network. The easiest way to do that is when you're inside the group is to share it with your connections. And you can share the group with your connections by hitting that little button there that says share group. You can share it on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and invite others. When you share it on LinkedIn, it's going to give you a couple of options. This first one here is going to your profile. So right below your name and your profile, that's where it's going to show up. And it's also going to show up on the newsfeed wall, if you will, the main newsfeed item. And you can put, which is called updates. You can put any comments you want. You can also broadcast it on Twitter, which I have my Twitter account linked to it. I can also post it in groups, all the groups that you're a part of. So I can start putting in, as I start typing in the group, it'll bring up the groups, and I can put it in that way. And I can also do it by sending it to individuals, either enter their email information in there, or to start typing in their names, and it'll pre-populate their names. So if you would, to build your network, to build our network, please promote, comment, like, share, promote, and put it out there. Yeah.
Is there a way that if for example, an individual is in 2 common groups, like Martin County and Palm Beach, I thought to increase the size of my network, I would join both, just so I have a little more exposure and maybe find some other contacts. One of the things that I found that's, not an issue, but I mean it's come up with that, is that when there's other people that are mutual contacts, they send multiples, like what you just did with the, I get 2 of the same emails posted on my wall. So if I'm a member of 3 different organizations that have common connections, I get 3 emails that are exactly the same from the same person. So I have to go through and kind of weed it out. I'm wondering if there's a way to not exclude people, but sort of filter that before you send.
Now, when you say on your wall, you mean an email notification that a message has been posted. You can go to your groups.
If I click on groups, for example, and I'm part of Martin County, Palm Beach, and Broward, let's say Business Connection. If I've joined each one of those groups, if you send out an email that includes those 3 groups, I'm going to get 3 of the same email.
Okay. Go to your manage. Sorry. Go to your group, and then go to your manage and manage your messages. How often and what messages you get. So manage. No, I'm sorry. It would be under more. Manages if you're the manager or the owner. So now you want to go to more, then your settings, and then it's going to say, send me an email for each new discussion. Take that off. Send me a digest of the You want it daily, or you want it weekly, or you don't want it at all, you take that off. So you can reduce the number of messages. And by the way, and Dave, we're certainly gonna, we want to make sure that we don't inundate you with emails. So please self-manage if you're getting too many of them, self-manage. And when we're posting stuff and putting it out, remember, especially on Facebook, and Rob, I know you know this already, every time someone puts up on Facebook, if it's not something valuable, after a while it becomes annoying and people leave the group. So be mindful of that when you're posting stuff too, but you can self-manage your stuff. We really want to, eventually we would love to kind of get away from sending out news and leave LinkedIn for discussions, which that's what it was made for, and all our news, announcements, and meetings will all come from the website. So we're not inundating folks with messages. Good point. Any final questions?
I noticed we have 7,000 on tag. What is
Untag means I haven't tagged you yet. means you can tag them and put them into categories or classifications. You know, business group, Palm Beach business group. I haven't classified them.
Okay.
Yeah, that would probably be a pretty big project. Yeah.
Good question. For a regular member on LinkedIn, is there a limit to how many messages you can send out total, or how many messages you can send out in a day, or whatever?
Not that I'm aware of. You can do 50 at a time. I have heard of people that were doing things too rapidly, and LinkedIn shut them off. The guy, Glenn Gale, who runs South Florida Business Professionals, that group, which is a big group, we've become friends. He was telling me that one day he was updating something and he did it too fast and LinkedIn shut him off.
Permanently?
No, they shut him down. He contacted them, and about 10 days later, his account was turned back on. What he did in the meantime is he couldn't get into his group and manage his group. He was the only person that could go in there and manage a group. He added me on so that in case he ever got shut down, again, somebody could at least help him manage the group. Yes?
Once you have everything all set up, how much time every day do you spend on this?
Good question. You could spend 24 hours a day on it. I recommend that you put at least 15, 20 minutes a day. Generally what I do, so I'm not spending my whole day with all this stuff, is I'll do it in the morning, midday, and in the evening. Some people do it in the morning and at night, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night. Just what I go through my emails, my LinkedIn, my Facebook, just bing, 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 like that. There will be times where maybe over the weekend I'll be trying to build a group or build my connections. I'll spend more time on it. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll set up the computer, get the TV going, and I'm kind of doing, you know, if I'm just doing repetitious type administrative tasks, which would be best to hire someone to do if you can. Yeah. Any other questions? Did you guys find this useful?
Yes.
Yes, Karen.
Brian, I just have a tip for everybody, because we're all here to share what we offer, but nobody ever wants to be sold, right? So really what I would recommend that you consider is really consider yourself a physician of your business. Find out the companies that you're targeting, do they have the pain? And if so, where does it hurt and how much does it hurt? Because the level of pain will determine how much they're willing to pay for a solution. The second thing is, don't ask yourself, what do I sell? Ask yourself, what is my solution proposition? Because if you go to a company, oh, I got this great training seminar, let me take a demo. It's like, what is it that I offer you? Are you stuck in any area of life? I can help you with that. Whoa, that's pretty different than, oh, do you have training? We can help with training, right? And the third thing is, make sure that you're targeting the right audience, because oftentimes we spin our wheels targeting the incorrect audiences. So really target it and do the research. All you have to do is go online, check out the company, you'll learn exactly what they're doing, and if you have a solution for them, you can call and say something like, are you interested in increasing your profitability? Who's going to say no to that? Very simple. Just a little tip.
Thank you. Before anybody leaves, can we take a picture? Way up
Well, I did.
Did you just take a picture?
Yeah, they took pictures.
Let's take some more.
I tagged you.
What I would like to do, we talked a lot about LinkedIn. That's our main thing, but we also are on Facebook, Martin County Business Connection, Palm Beach Business Connection, etc. And what we do is we like to go in and start tagging people. And what will happen is you start to get tagged, it goes out to your friends, and then your friends are like, what the heck is Palm Beach Business Connection? Gets them interested and so on. So yeah, you want to take, who's got cameras who can take some, maybe a picture this way? Anybody? Dave, you?
Somebody with
Dave
a
will-
flash.
Someone with a flash.
I have a flash of mine.
Okay.
Good flash.
Yeah, Dave just posted his Sammy, just commented, because I tagged everybody, for the things I do, I tagged and Sammy was down there.
Is this an amazing world we live in or what?
We already got comments from people as we've been sitting here. We posted that. People have already commented on it. Go to the Broward, go to the Broward page.
Look at this. Wait, isn't Amy here?
No, he's not. Sending my files.
Awesome. If you wouldn't mind, also for the people that are here for the first time or new, please make sure that I get one of your business cards. If you would just put it over here next to my computer, that would be great. And I'm going to stick around for a little bit longer if you'd like, answer any of your questions. And I really appreciate everyone coming out. It was a good session, and we'll hope to see you at the various meetings and meetups and so on. Dave, anything final?
Thank you everyone for coming. You can do a lot of this stuff just to follow up on what Brian said. While I'm having a cup of coffee in the morning when I get into my office, I log on to LinkedIn, I go into the groups, and check and see regularly if anybody joins or posts anything. You can just do it over a cup of coffee.